And we are live with episode 56. Once again, we are half hour Henshin. I am Sleepy Witch, joined by
DJ Azure, the 2.5D here talking to her.
who is having a lot of fun because he knows I just came off watching the King Ocher episode, and that one had an ending.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you guys aren't going to hear that until the end of this episode, so make sure you just keep listening. Oh man, but talking about endings to episodes though, like holy crap, freaking Gotchard, man! Gotchard ended on like Gotchard, like for such a happy show, it ended on like one of the most like solemn endings that I did not expect.
Especially with just the theme of the episode in general. But like first, I want to talk about the first thing. I hadn't noticed that Ichinose and Rina's names both had 1 and 9, so they're supposed to be a Kemi match. That's so cute.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. I'm like, oh my god,
Because I forgot
so cool.
their name is Fudo or whatever, where she gets the 9, and I'm like, because I've been thinking about Rina,
Kudo.
Kudo, Kudo.
Yeah,
I was thinking about Rina, not Kudo, so I didn't even notice. But that, because I'm like, oh yeah, Ichi, that's obviously one. Ichinose number 1. I'm like, that matches with Hopper 1. That's cute, and I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that was so cool. Like as someone that didn't think about it either, like I'm like that was one of the coolest ideas ever. I'm like, damn, that was good.
Especially because it gets pointed out. It's like we're not a team, and it's like, yeah, but you guys match just like the Kemis do, and it's like, oh, that's adorable. That's such a cute way to set them up.
Yeah,
no,
I really enjoyed that. That was so nice.
The funniest part of this episode to me, that was funny absolutely for nothing to do with the episode itself, was they were talking about, it's like they want to use alchemy to open the door to darkness, and all I could think of was the Mickey Mouse. Haha! Did somebody say the door to darkness?
No, no.
Anyway, that was like just 3 minutes into the episode, so that was great.
Oh man. Also, like while we're on this episode, like it was Ant Hopper, which is Ant Wrestler, which is what I was waiting for, and it's like if anyone watched my stream on me opening up an entire box of Chemi cards, I must have manifested so hard that I actually have URs of Wrestler G and Trooper. Like it's like I was so excited for this form that apparently I must have gotten like that match together.
Yeah. And talking about the wrestler, having just a straight up like heel versus face match with the hero, and like the fact that he keeps being called babyface like the entire time is very funny.
Yeah, it's like they really leaned into all the stuff. Like apparently the guy that played the villain of the episode is actually a DDT wrestler.
No, that makes sense. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like wrestlers get into kids shows a lot. Like there was a Okeda with Buddy Fight as well. Like I feel like
Takahashi being Dr. Pac-Man in the X-Aid movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, it's so funny to think about, like, you know, how we have all these, like, you know, actual wrestlers like doing this stuff, and I'm like, man, that's so cool. I love this.
I also love how Ichinose, being such a like happy little guy, just immediately goes up to his senpai and he's like, "Oh, help me out! Show me how to like catch Kemis." And the guy's like, "I'm a senpai."
Yeah, he's adorable. Yeah, after. Oh man, I was enjoying this episode as well too.
Yeah, it was just like first, it was really wholesome just seeing them interact. The whole beginning part, the like amalgam form for the gorilla wrestler dude was really funny because he just has a fist for a face, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
The fact that basically Ichinose got like his back broken like 15 different times this episode, just dude just went through it.
Yeah. So someone also pointed out that like this episode was really nice because it kind of is a return to form for Ryder in general, because it was basically an episode about him helping out the little guy. Like,
yeah, which was
that was the episode.
It was really cute. Second of all, I love that like the Yakuza shows up and he turns into a gun and Renstone's like, well, I might as well fire it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What is it? Bullet Chocho? Yeah.
Yeah.
I say this as I'm pulling out my cards to, like, you know, take out Bullet and Chocho.
Yeah. It was cute. Interesting way for it to go in general.
Yeah. But yeah,
The
like no, like I said, like the really big thing about this episode, which is like it was like, oh, that's right. Ryder is just about just helping out people. Like he is a
Yeah,
hero.
I mean
Like it
that
was.
is the point. Yeah,
hmm Yeah,
but
it was so nice to see that happen.
yeah, it was really nice seeing that happen. The gorilla fist suit was just really funny. I can't get over just the giant fist with the head. Him getting like backbroken legitimately like in the rider suit too is really funny.
Yeah,
Valverad showing up and then everyone being like, "We're not gonna hand over Wrestler G." I like that the Wrestler G being stuck in a doll, so I guess he wasn't coming in contact with humans or whatever was
yeah.
interesting.
And him like taking over but not and Russell G like taking over not in
Not as an
a trying to
amalgam.
malice way.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it wasn't him reacting to malice. It was him reacting to like his hope and his spirit and like the goodness of his
hmm
heart, and like it being like at Ichinosu being like there is a way for like chemis and people to like work together was really cute, which only made it all the sadder when at the
Yeah.
end he has to give up Wrestler G so that he can go back. And so far, from the suits we've seen actually kick, we have a different kick for each suit so far, with the
Yeah.
wrestler
We have a
form having
drop
the
kick this
drop
week.
kick.
Yeah. It was like when I saw that drop kick, I'm like, yes.
No, the drop kick looked really really cool, and then especially having wrestler G like overload the driver so he could turn the other guy could turn into like his like young wrestling form or whatever where they could tag team was super cool.
hmm
So because he was able to at least help him achieve his dream of tag teaming with Wrestler G at least one time. Uh,
hmm
the Ant Trooper form, honestly, the Ant Wrestler form is just so cool. The blue and yellow work really well. Uh,
Yeah, like I said, I was so excited for that suit since like the image on the toys that I'm like, yeah, like I manifested it in my box opening.
I mean, hell yeah, dude, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then just again
Uh
a somber ending. The really specific way that the Kemek story works like really well. It's like a sad song when you like slow it down and
yeah.
play it on the guitar. But
hmm
yeah, we got a Spanner episode next week.
Yeah,
And it looks like
and we're
Rina
getting
gets
another suit.
captured.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we're getting Gorilla Nero, I think it is, or Burning Gorilla, I think it's gonna be,
Yeah.
which is the next suit. So yeah.
I mean, it looks like
Uh
we're gonna fly through the first 9 suits. In the first like 10 or so episodes, since
yeah,
they're all
I'm
kind of
really
like
wondering
base
wonder
form suits.
yeah, I'm really wondering what they're gonna do for like the level 10 suits because like I actually like when I was drawing my cards, I got like an EX card and it had like 10 on it. But like the back of the card doesn't have the half mask like the regular cards do. It just has like an X back to it. So like I'm just wondering if they're gonna have like a like flip down to put the X in so that it could basically like cover the front of the card or like cover the front of the driver. So I'm really wondering what the power up form is gonna be like for this because on top of
Yeah,
the driver there's like actually a hole for an expansion. So I'm like
yeah.
wondering if
I
that's where
wonder
the 10 card
this is
goes.
gonna be a build. I was gonna say, man, as much as I love the expansions, I hope they keep it kind of simple because I feel like sometimes they get a little wild. like
Yeah.
there's some that I think are like very reasonable, and then as much as I love that series and as much as I love that driver, when it was like, oh yeah, no, we're doing like the build driver, and then on top we're putting the hazard switch, and then on top of that we're doing the
Well, I
big
mean,
bull. Eventually
I mean,
they brought it back down, but
well, I mean, like the hazard switch was like the hazard trigger was only like just like a small thing that went on top of it. Well, what you're actually thinking of though is Exade. If you know Exades, that one gets wild and
I have
hilarious.
not seen X-Aid
Okay,
yet.
so there's like a maximum driver which takes up 2 slots. It
Right.
has like a little exit head that he punches down, and like if you've ever seen like that giant mascot suit of Exit with the normal size head,
Right.
that looks like a Gurren Lagann mech. That is Maximum Gamer, and his upgrade form. What it does is that he still is in Maximum Gamer, but he puts something on top of the driver, and it flips down and that's how he gets to Hyper Muteki. And Hyper Muteki actually breaks out of the mascot suit, and like is like the golden form that he has, his actual super form, where he basically turns into like a hyper mode in a Muso game, which is hilarious, and I love it so much. Hypermutic is such a fun form.
No, that's
Man,
cool.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll see how
yeah.
it goes. Seeing him just wrestling the dude and getting backbreaker like over and over again was fun for sure. Uh, Definitely, like, damn, this kid is suffering for it. But it was also really cool seeing, Rin get really into it and eventually start cheering for him and stuff. Just very
Mhm.
cute episode and wholesome overall.
Yeah, like they really are like like
I
getting
mean,
them to work together.
yeah, and I
Like
hope I
it's
hope I hope eventually we're gonna have a really good payoff. Like I feel like one of my favorite payoffs at the very end of build was in that final fight where the last two bottles is like the Max Hazard rabbit and the Max Hazard dragon. It was like putting them together and it's like best match
yeah,
because
but you
they
know who
were
isn't working? Yeah,
yeah, is it working
but
together?
yeah. You know who isn't working well together? Scarred and the GGF.
Oof, yeah.
So Ultraman Blazer, episode 12. Let's go Blazer. Oh man, yeah. This is just an episode where like yeah, the GGF sucks, and then we unfortunately do see Emmy like wearing the neck brace after like injury sustained from the last episode.
I'm glad they did at least complain
Yeah.
that the dude was found like 600 feet away from the mech. I was wondering if they were just
Hmm.
gonna like let that go. We're just gonna pretend he's not outside the mech now. Uh, yeah, the whole bureaucracy thing coming in hard here. Uh, him deciding to leave the Blazer metal behind because he wasn't sure if he could trust it. Uh,
Yeah.
definitely was kind of sad, honestly. Uh,
Yeah. And then we actually do see like a little bit more about what happened 3 years ago, about like how he did meet Blazer himself. And
yep,
yeah, like we actually got some lore in this episode, and yeah, it's like a lot of this episode was just like a big fight because like like the fight was left unfinished last week.
yep.
But it was actually like super cool because like Earth Garen actually did something this week. Like
Yeah,
they
and
actually were able to have Earth Garen do something.
yep, and they had the whole fight with this big first of all, like all the big cityscapes, they're basically having him like chase them down into an area. There's
Hmm.
nothing funnier to me than like the stuff with Air that Earth Garen was doing this episode, especially because like there's something so incredibly just fun about like, oh yeah, we're not just gonna design like a gun that we shoot with like a piloting system or we're gonna just like put in the coordinates. No, it's just a real gun and the giant robot has to shoot the real gun really well.
Yeah, it's cute. Like we
It's
get to
just
see more Edgaren, and like it's like honestly like Edgaren like finally doesn't job for once, which is nice. And like it actually like sure like Ultraman finishes the fight this episode, but like at least Earthgaren was able to like shoot like this high density rod, which is like like yeah actually no it was the right it was the needle from Garamon, right,
yep.
that's what it was.
And it
Yeah,
was
and
really, yeah, it was cool. I hope it would be cool if, because I kind of want to get like the Ifgaren like figure at some point.
I know, right?
And it'd be cool if they would release the sniper too, so we can just set him up in like sniper position.
Yeah, and
But
then
big
yeah,
fight,
like
Rod shot at the man, so his EMP organ is destroyed. Uh,
yeah, and
Man,
then like
him remembering and calling out for Blazer, and the Blazer metal basically just like flying to him.
yeah, exactly. Like 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 they basically realize that they're both working together and they're both like trying to save lives.
Yep.
Yeah, like kaiju as well too. Like they're trying to save kaiju lives as well too, which is really like really nice. Like yeah, and then and then we actually see like Blazer actually grabbing the rod and turning it into a sword, which is
Which is
great.
great. That becomes like his like Garamon power up as he like uses that like metal or whatever.
Hmm.
I loved both the other dude's face like, wait, did he just turn that into a sword?
Yeah,
And it being a
and no,
sword,
like my favorite part about him getting the sword though was that he actually like holds it out in front of him and still does his tribal like pre-battle ritual pose, and I'm like yes, Oh, I love this so
Oh,
much.
I love watching Blazer fight. Him like walking through and him jumping up and down and doing his thing. And then he gets like the little sword, and the sword being like a thing that looks like it like stores energy and like lets you shoot it back. Uh,
Yeah, like he
very fun looking toy, I'm sure.
mm, yeah, like yeah, it was so cool because like
Yep. And then
like an
he
Ultraman like does
mhm.
win.
And then he wins with the sword, and he has like a pose almost like if he's like offering the sword up.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, like I said, like yeah, I just love that pose because like he does it even before a fight, where he, like he actually like like holds his hands up and like goes into a crouch and then like offers his hands out, like like I'm not sure, like it's almost like him starting like a traditional like ritual battle or like I don't know if it's Muay Thai that does it. Like it feels like something out of like out of a Muay Thai fight. I haven't watched anything official, so I'm probably completely wrong, but it feels something like that.
no, and I
Like
think
it's so ritualistic.
his fighting style is supposed to be kind of my Thai. I thought
Hmm.
anyway, with the high kicks and the elbows and everything. Also,
Yeah.
just the bit at the end where he shows up to the office and it's all like trash because the blazer metal literally burnt a hole through the building.
Oh, yep. Oops.
Yep. I love how he looks at the metal like, "Oh, you," and that's how we end
Yeah.
it.
Uh, but yeah, like yeah, that was like this is a fun episode. Like sure, it was mostly taken up by the fight, but like we actually did get some resolution for the. We did get some resolution for Gento and Blazer. Like like they're finally coming to a consensus together, so they're not trying to take over each other.
Yep. And it looks like
We
we have
still get more
another.
shady GGF.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting another like special episode or like recap episode next week.
Yep. It's yeah. Apparently it's actually a normal thing for Ultraman to have a mid season recap, like an official one.
Gotcha. It looks like it's going to be Scarred Nocturne. We're going to be looking through Ami's records of basically the Ultraman fights, so that'll be cool.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. So yeah.
and and yeah,
Oh man.
man, Royal Sentai King Oger.
Yeah. I couldn't think of a transition for this one this
Yeah,
week.
honestly,
Where do we even start with this one? Because there
uh,
was a
I'll,
bit.
yeah, starting with just Jeremy's mom, and I feel like Sentai in particularly has like a tendency to make a lot of the monster suits like big and unwieldy, and like those are fun for some bad guys and for some monsters, but
Mhm.
having like a small suit that is really easy or comparatively easy to move around. Not saying any of the suits are easy to move around with what they have to deal with, but makes it so that you can get some really cool action sequences. Like, damn, seeing Jeremy's mom like fight Digorg and do all those kicks and everything was so cool.
Yeah. Also, what I was liking about this episode a little bit was that they were doing they were kind of doing that one thing I love that Brooklyn Nine-Nine does, where they kind of just like choose two characters and just randomly pair them up just to see what they do. um,
Yep, very interesting pairings too. Love just man, this entire episode just had so much like random shit that just came together. I also like I don't know if they made it that obvious if I started noticing this episode, but
mhm.
like is there a little guy in Dugat's head? Like
I don't know.
in this episode especially, at the last part where he's like really mad and without even going into context, when you like lean down, you can like see into the orange part that kind of looks like a pompadour or whatever, and it just looks
Oh,
like there's a small guy in there.
oh, I never noticed that. It
I
does
didn't.
look like there's something there.
It looks like there's like a bug, so I'm like, is he like a smaller bug piloting a mech?
Yeah, I don't know, and if that's the case, not being the good in the god accusation.
Continuing to not, those accusations remain strong and prosperous.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
yeah, like
let's see. What did everyone do this episode? Rita arrested Himeno, and then subsequently, like 5 minutes later, got put in a cage. Uh,
And what's even funny too is that Himeno's not even angry that she got arrested. Himeno's angry that the cuffs don't look pretty.
you know, yeah, and then she immediately tries to bribe an officer
Yeah.
with Mofun's voice actor and like a Mofun plush, and then just like, oh hey, the new episode came out, and like it was really funny that that one specifically they mentioned that it was produced by Himeno.
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, like, if in canon, because I think originally we were just told that like, oh yeah, it's just Himeno's country makes Mofun, but I wonder if after finding out how much Rita likes it, she started taking an actual like emphasis on production.
hmm Yeah, and
Uh,
then the other pair that we have is Yanma and Jeremy this episode.
who decided to just
We get,
fight, which is very funny. Uh,
yeah, it was funny too because like they're about to start fighting and then Gira gets in the way of both of their punches at the same time and just gets knocked the hell
yep,
out.
because Rita can't be there to officiate because she's busy being trapped in the cage, and so they decided to
Yeah.
just fight anyway.
Yeah, like everyone's like acting all weird this episode. And then like the really big thing about this episode is that Jeremy is like we get another brain blast this episode and it's the funniest thing cuz Gira is kind of dumb. And
Gira, bless his heart, is not our brightest king. No.
yeah. The funniest thing too was that unlike the last time, everyone else was in on it this time
Right.
except Gira.
Everyone else was able to read Jeremy's subtext. He decides he's going to play the clown for Dugard. And my favorite part about that is it was just played on a fact that we know, the fact that he said that like his morpher is like a gift from his mother that was like a memorial gift from her. So he has
Mhm,
mentioned that she died, and everyone
mhm.
else is like, oh yeah, he did mention that she died, and we just got the guy who looks at notes. Whole power is bringing bodies back from the dead.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So like even us as watchers, we should have really realized it as well too. But at the
I
same time, it's
I
just
I
like
was starting to get hints of like, oh, because I was like, oh, maybe she's, especially because at first, she's just like, oh, Jeremy, I need your help, and she just like doesn't keep saying anything else. I'm like, oh, maybe she's back from that. But then when everyone starts fighting, and then especially when like Kagurai's first instincts just start like begging to the sky, I was like, I was so distracted by everything else. I was like, I never thought about it. I didn't think it past
yeah,
them.
yeah, like they did a good job, like as they said, playing the jester to keep your mind off of everything
And
else.
again, because they didn't tell Gira. Gira is just genuinely like, bro, what the fuck am I gonna do? These guys are gone. Oh, he was having like an all my friends are idiots moment. Like, honestly.
And they were all playing him, unfortunately.
Well, they probably thought he knew what was going on, because at the end they were like, "You really didn't get it," and they're like, the subtext, and they were like, "No."
Yeah.
He was like, "No," and they were like, "Damn it, God." Saw it.
Yeah, but at the same time, what was really nice about this episode is that like after four episodes of the Jeremy misery tour, Jeremy, as he says, was redeemed. Like,
Yeah, everything. Oh man, the setup for this is so nice, because as Dugard has come by, I do like the vibes of Dugard as an antagonist, especially because he does just like play off as like, I'm just a silly little guy, and what I'm doing is inconsequential, even though when he's threatening to murder groups of people and whatnot. And so Gira being like, bro, what am I gonna do without them? Because he's like, oh, I don't even need them. And he's like, sigh, who am I kidding? And he shows up like, hey, see, I told you. I told you how I was going to go. And then all of that leading up into like this moment where Gira's belief is honestly shaken, where Dugad's like, I mean, if you really believe that you can do this on your own, laugh the way you always do, prove it to me. And he can't at that moment because doesn't believe in it. Uh, Only for everyone to immediately come out and help him, and then
yeah,
then the dumb little "you've been pranked"
yep, yep,
on Duga was really funny, especially because like we haven't gotten any power up. Like they can't hurt Dugard at this point yet, but like they hit him where it really would hurt him, because
yeah,
because they not only did they prove him wrong, but they would like fuck with him about it too. They were very specific. And then, like you said, we get a cool redemption. Everyone gets explained to. Not only was it's like a double joke. Not only did they get Do God, but also they proved that the Bugnarok are not the bad guys this time, and it's all a thing
Mhm.
being manipulated by him. And we got to see a really nice scene of. It's really funny because obviously stuff is animated to go at certain speeds, but it's really funny seeing the like sped up transformation where everything looks just a little off because they're just like speed running.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
And then just the dramatic music while in the background, all you see is the mech like preparing the fucking blasting slash.
Yep. And after that, and then we get the really big thing. Well, the other really big thing. There was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode.
Yeah.
But and then we end on such a wild note. I'm gonna send you somewhere.
I'm gonna send you to the worst place imaginable.
Yeah. Japan.
I was
Good. We both were thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you literally watched this episode right before we recorded.
Yeah.
And it's like I made that joke as well too in my group watch. It's like I'm gonna send you to the worst place possible, Japan. And I'm like,
I mean, hey, that was certainly something. Here's the thing: it's sometimes I feel like you have to write antagonists like Dugard in like really specific ways because like he is just OP enough right now that he could just show
yeah.
up and like one shot everyone and just be done with it.
Mhm.
Like it could be. So having ways for them to do something and not be like, well, he just comes in and kills you, is
Yeah.
something that they have to do.
And not making him look incompetent, which is like the big thing. Because like they already showed that, like the other thing too is that they haven't gotten a clean win yet. They have not gotten a
And
clean
he
win.
doesn't look incompetent, but everything's playing off of the fact that he's still just like playing around, that he is like a big kid, basically.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. He has a swing. He has a swing. He's just like
the swing
he's
is
like
so funny. I love the
Yeah.
swing.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't want to put into effort. Like it's like he finds it so beneath him. Like it's like I'd be bored faster if I did it myself.
Because it'd just be over.
Yeah.
Like they said, he wants a show to watch, and that's kind of the bit for this episode. But
yeah, it's so great.
The bigger thing is like, one, this gives a cohesive reason for them to meet up with the other king, the king from what is it, Kyoruger?
Yeah, but like what's really funny is that we only hear Daigo's voice in this episode. So outside of excuse me, outside of the show verse, we actually have pictures on Instagram of the Kyurugers meeting up, which is super cool. So outside of the universe of the show, yeah, we have seen that. Apparently this new one is named Prince, like the one because the red king that you see, the red Kyoruger that you see in the preview is actually not the same red from 10 years ago. Also, it's the 10-year anniversary and they planned this already. It was actually planned from the start. And funny enough, I actually was thinking about this because I'm like, oh wait, that's right, it's Kyoruger's 10th anniversary. Wait, this basically means I've been into Toku for roughly 10 years because Kyoruger and Gaim both were airing 10 years ago, and it was basically my
Because
that was when I started watching.
Yeah, because I think it was like during Gaim was coincided with Kyoruger and Tokuger, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I watched the first Tokuger episode recently, and it had this little superhero time, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Gaim's here."
Yep. Oh, you started watching Tokuger? Oh man, that's my favorite.
I have watched the first episode of Tokuger, but there's a part of me that hesitates a little bit because I basically hear Tokuger's like the best of the best. So it's like, do I want to watch this now? Maybe I should go watch like one that won't be as good and like save this one for later, kind of, because the first episode was really good. I really liked it. I really liked the characters. But anyway, going back to the Sentai we're actually talking about, seeing them in Japan is going to be interesting. I'm sure that it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yep, and they're trapped there. What's also super cool though is that because it is the 10th anniversary of Kyoruger, they actually are releasing a memorial edition of their God Revolvers, and I'm like, ooh, that's super sick. I don't know if I want one because I already have a Memorial Edition, and I already have the DX, but it's small in my hand. But yeah,
And you're like,
like
this could be big.
yeah, but I was like so happy when I saw like the characters like 10 years later. I'm like, oh man, these guys were good. Yeah,
Damn.
like Kyoryuger's also really good too. So
Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll
if
go watch Kyoryuger's just to see a little bit before we get this episode.
yeah, yeah, like honestly, you may enjoy them. It does have probably it has a really good red. Like I have some small issues with it, mostly like a certain relationship that appears 2 episodes before the end. Anyone
Okay.
that's anyone that's watched Kyoryuger knows exactly what I'm talking about for that. Um, what else is there? And after that, and that's pretty much like the small, like that's one of the small issues I have with the show. Oh, and that's right. The bigger issue though is that Daigo King,
Mm.
he gets like all the focus. Like no one else gets focused like about during the last part of the show.
So it basically is like a red season, basically.
Yeah, it's a very red season, which is why like I really love Tokyo because that season everyone gets to have fun, and I love that one so much.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if you saw the villains already, but I love the shadow lines so much.
Oh, the Shadowline.
Shadow line design is so great, which means oh man, this basically means next year's Tokyo 10th. But yeah, just to focus on Kyoryuger, I cannot wait for whatever they have for Kyoryuger 10th. The fact that we're already getting like an official like planned like this like a planned like in canon episode, because like as we know, King Odra takes place on a planet on a distant corner of the galaxy, Terra, and we're actually just straight up on Earth now. So
Yep, we're just
really
straight up
wondering
in
how that's
Japan.
gonna be. Yeah.
Yep. But with that, we will hopefully get some answers to that question next week, when we will return once again to talk about the episodes of the week. Thanks as always for listening. We really do appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
This program is brought to you by
Our unending love of tokusatsu.
If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like and subscribe.
And hit the bell for notifications. And if you would like to support us further, consider becoming a patron at our Patreon, Half Hour Henshin.
You can get some exclusive benefits, such as your name in the credits and joining our sticker club. Or, if you want to help with a one-time donation,
you can also find us at Ko-fi at Half Hour Henshin. You can email us with any questions or theories at halfhourhenshin@gmail.com or on Twitter at halfhourhenshin.